Hi folks, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at a little autumn tree, and it's that time of year again, and it's always good to paint with the seasons as well as doing other projects. It's also good to, if it's in the autumn, it's good to paint with the leaves when they turn, and more into the winter, your snow scenes and stuff. So it's good to just to keep up to date on all that end of things, okay? So today we're going to do this lovely little tree, and I'll just show you my palette quickly that I'm going to use today. So it's a wee Seta Rosa, and what we're going to use is the yellow, the red, and the blue. So lemon yellow, cad red, cobalt blue, three colors, just to keep it all very simple. Okay, so what you want to do first of all, take a wee screenshot of this tree outline if you like, or even create your own. And then once you've done that, I want you to get your yellow, and just put a little bit of the red into it. Make it a sort of like an orangey yellow, and you see back on the side here. Okay, something like that. Just have a wee bit of scrap paper and test it out on the side. Okay. And then in another well in your palette, get your cad red and put a wee bit of yellow into that. Okay, so this is going to be for your warmer colors, and just kind of experiment until you get the right consistency, the right depth of hue there. Okay, so you've got your orangey yellow, you've got your orange, and now what I want you to do is take a bit of your cobalt blue, predominantly cobalt blue, and put a wee bit of red into it, and that'll give you like a purpley color. Okay, so once you have those three colors mixed up in the wee wells ready to go, that's great. The next thing is you want something for the tree trunks and branches. So what you want to do is go into your cobalt blue, get a good strong thick mix of that, and then put a bit of red into it, and then a wee bit of your yellow, and you'll see this lovely color that'll do for your branches and trees and so on. Okay, so out of the three colors, your three primaries, red, yellow, and blue, we've made this range of colors that it's going to do for our tree today. So nice and easy. This is just it's just quite a small piece of paper. It's half of a quarter sheet, probably about 10 by 6 inches there, with some masking tape around it. And the brushes I'm going to use today are going to be, if you have a wee mop, that's handy, and if not, don't worry, just use the biggest brush you've got, and then around, and then one that's useful for doing little branches, and a wee rigger for fine stuff. So I'm showing you these brushes now, and I hope to stick to them if I can. All right, so we're not going to bother too much with any background at this stage. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay down your tree first. Okay, so you're into your strong color, all right? And then what you want to do is starting at the bottom of the tree, kind of keep it like this. If you can imagine that there's grass kind of growing up at the base of that there. Okay, you don't want to do it like this straight across. It's just not going to look good. And then just get your brush and then just drag it up. I find with these trees, a lot of it is to do with how you angle the brush, and that'll give you the type of pressure you need. And then just take that on up the top there, back down again, and then run the next one up, just like the tree is splitting there. And while it's still damp, I'm just going to go in with some slightly thicker branches here, Okay, what I'm going to do now is switch to a thinner brush here, because we're going to work on those branches a bit. Sometimes you've got to go in and out of your palette a little bit just to vary that wash, you know. And you know, I hear people saying, "Oh, I couldn't do that. My hands are too shaky," you know. And all I can say is, well, you might be at a bit of an advantage then, because if your hand was perfectly straight and accurate, you wouldn't get these lovely little wiggly lines and stuff, you know. Okay, and I'll go over this side and I'll just drop some down there like that. So just a light gentle touch. And then a few up here. And it's all a wee bit of hit and miss. Here I'm just kind of, you know, dragging it, and I'm kind of missing here and there. And what that'll do is that'll allow you to be able to bring your branches in, where the foliage and the leaves will just fill in the blanks, if you know what I mean. In the studio here, it is quite warm, so the paper has a tendency to kind of dry quite quickly. And don't worry if you don't get it all at this stage. You can kind of come in later on and just top up things. So I'm just going to give it a wee run over. It can't dry it out a wee bit too thick on me. And that's kind of the way it goes when you're painting, you know. There's nothing perfect about watercolor. You just got to learn to roll with it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking off the excess water off my brush, and I'm just going down the side here like this. And I'm just lifting with the brush tip, just lifting off some of that paint. And what that does is gives you the impression of texture on the tree, but also helping you to just sort of work out where the source of light's coming from as well. Okay, I think that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do now, I want to finish off the base of that tree a wee bit better. Well, looking very blocky there. Okay, so it's a bit better there. Okay. And then there's a wee branch coming out there, so I'll just pick that up and okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to just use the hairdryer on this, just to speed up the process a little. The thing about art and being an artist is, it's when you're working with the seasons and you see all that lovely colors out there, you know, it's a great time of year just to go out with the camera and take a few shots and just enjoy the whole process of being an artist. And I know a lot of beginners, they could never imagine calling themselves an artist, but I think you will come to a place that, you know, when you accept it, that's what you are, because you've got that creative urge that's always been in there, even as a child, and it's kind of topping into that again. And it's those kind of memories of just being out and taking photographs and bringing it back to the house and sitting working out a lovely wee painting and just enjoying the process. Don't be getting yourselves all stressed out or anything over this. It's just meant to be a wee bit of fun, you know. Okay, so we've got that sorted out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my colors that I've already mixed up. Okay, so first color up is the lemon yellow, but remember, put a wee hint of red in it just to kind of warm it up a bit. And then what you're just going to do is it's just a bit of fun here, okay? So you're just, you know, splashing it on and just, you know, don't overdo it, you know. Sometimes just, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but less really is more. Okay, so if you can imagine the sun coming down from this angle here and then hitting that hitting that tree at the top there. So a lot of those, see the way I'm just letting my hand just dance around this, you know. And if you have a shaky hand, sure, that's brilliant. Just makes it all the easier. And then, you know, just slap a wee bit on like that. See, I'm just tapping the brush, and that's kind of like if you see leaves that are blowing, a wee bit of wind comes along and catches those leaves and kicks them up into the air. And it's so easy to find free photos of autumn leaves on the internet these days, you know. Even if you can't get out, you're housebound or whatever, at least you can still find stuff like that pretty easy enough. Okay, so, and a wee splash here. So you're basically channeling that inner child. Sure, how easy is that? And don't worry about all this here down here, you know. So it's all part of it. And see where I'm leaving holes in the trees there, you know. Okay, so that was my yellowy orange, and then now I'm I've been heading into the other color, the red with a bit of yellow in it. I think it needs a wee bit more red in it. There we go. And then, so as you move down the tree, you're getting into maybe more shadow and so on. Sometimes the best way to learn to paint is just to, you know, just let go and just find that freedom, just to splash the paint on. And you know what? You'll be very surprised of what you can achieve by doing that. Because when you're learning, everything's you're very precious about, you know, every little brush stroke and all the rest of it, you know. And the thing just ends up looking tight and overworked. Okay, so see this bits down here, it's pulling quite a lot. You just go in with a dry brush in your wee tissue there and just pick up some of that stuff, just to kind of keep control of it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the darker color. That was the cobalt blue with your red in it, and that'll give you a nice kind of purpley color. And now we're really getting into the shadow here. Okay, so we'll just let that brush, see the way the brush, I'm just kind of dancing around with the brush, you know. Wee dab here and a wee dab there, and wee flick. So do you see how quick this is all just starting to come together? And then maybe a few wee bits up here where there might be some darker leaves. And a few wee leaves down here. Sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I just get lost in it and I forget to talk, you know. Okay, time for a wee bit of splatter here and there. I'm just putting my hand, see where I'm just putting my hand in front there just to try and control it a bit. So what happened there is my hand kind of flicked, my brush flicked too much behind my hand there, you know. But don't worry about it, you know, don't be getting in and trying to fix it all up and all, you know. At the end of the day, this is just a wee experiment. And you know what? If you end up with a wee picture out of it that looks lovely, why don't you write a nice message on it and send it to a friend? Okay, so there's not a lot more to do there. What I might just do is go into that dark color again, that purpley color, and I might kind of drag a bit of shadow, you know, as if it's really dark inside there, you know, just a wee bit, not too much, and then down here, and then just with a dry brush, just give it a wee flick up like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I know it says we weren't going to do any background on it, but I'm going to take my cobalt blue with just a wee hint of that red in it, and I'm just going to just throw something into the background there. And I'm just kind of letting the brush dance around, giving it the impression that there's maybe fir trees or something growing in the back there. Okay, and then what we'll do is I'm going to give us a quick drying off here with the old hair dryer. And then we'll have a look at it then, see what we've got here. Okay, so there you go, there's that tree there. So what we could do now is we could put a bit of green around the back here, just a light colour, light greeny blue, just to indicate a wee bit of distance. And what we can do then is start to go in here with some of those leaves and make it all look like the foam all around the place, okay? And you know, you don't have to come right down to the bottom, you know, you can just leave a bit of, you know, negative empty space here. So if you just take your yellow again, right, and then add a wee touch of blue to it, and then just don't forget, before you actually throw it onto your paper, go up here and just run it across there. Just test it out, you know. Okay, and then we're just going to throw that across here. It's actually a bit stronger than what I was hoping for, but I'm not going to worry about it. I can always go in with a a damp brush and just drag that across like that, just to soften it up. Okay, so what we're going to do now is you can grab a piece of paper if you like, and if you want to put it across like this here, bring it up to the just the top of that white there. Okay, so what we're going to do at this stage is get our color again from our tree. So these are going to be fallen leaves, and then we're just going to bring it up to the tree, the bottom of the tree there, like that. So if you could just imagine a whole pile of leaves just lying here at the bottom of this. And we can do this in layers too, you know, we can kind of just start in with that kind of lighter color and then dry it off, and then go in with some of the more reddy, auburn kind of colors. And there's too much pulling going on, just touch it with your brush just to map it up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to dry that off quickly. Okay, I'll pop that back on again, and then I'm going to go in with slightly stronger colors, and then I'll maybe just do a wee bit of splatter like that. So I'm kind of doing it at a bit of an angle there, and then go in and just touch those a bit. Bring it up to the base of that tree there. So my hand is just skipping all around the place, but in my mind I'm thinking, if these were leaves lying on the ground, how would they look? Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a slightly stronger color there, and I'm just going to let that just bleed in there. Okay, we'll give that another quick dry. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go in with some of that stronger bluey purple, and we'll just kind of put the odd bit in here and there. So what this does is gives you the indication that there's shadow just underneath that. And then what we'll do is we'll just drag that up the tree a little bit here like that, and that will just help to blend that all in nicely there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my wee rigger brush, and I'm going to make up some more of that tree color, which is our cobalt, touch of red and a touch of yellow, but keep it quite dark And then what I'm going to do is just drag up a couple of wee bits and pieces here and there. So there's not much more to go, folks, but you know, if you're enjoying these videos and you want to see more of them, it's always good to hear from you. So, you know, do feel free to leave a wee comment, or if you're not subscribed, that would be great. It just shows me that you're getting some value out of these and you want to see more of them. And I know there's a lot of folks out of art groups and stuff that would watch these and for ideas and tips and tricks. So don't forget to share them with your friends and so on. Okay, so we don't want to overdo this. Just looks like there's a lot of branches and twigs and wee bits and pieces coming out of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have a wee look at the top of this tree now and make sure I'm happy with all the branches. And with my wee rigger, I'm just going to go in and out here and just pull things in and out. So again, you know, don't overdo it. So the way these leaves are, they're kind of, the leaves are kind of in between and through the branches, and then this little bits, fine branches just punching through. And then those bits that were kind of falling down like that, you can kind of, you know, that could even be a branch that is broken and come away. Something that happened maybe with the strong winds. It's just kind of hanging down like that, you know. So there you go, folks. I mean, you don't have to do anything here if you don't want to. You can just leave that as is. And all you need now is just pop your signature on there. And what I'm going to do now is just give us a quick drying off. And if I remove the tape, you'll be able to see that and how it looks. So there you go, folks. That's not too bad now. And this could be buildings in the background. It could be in a park somewhere, and just a cityscape. Oops, in the background there. So do have a wee go at this with me, and I'd love to hear how you got on with it. And if there's any other kind of things along this line that you'd like to see, do let me know, and look forward to hearing from you. So folks, until I see you again next time, you take it easy and just keep them brushes wet and just keep playing along there. All the best for now.